Hello, greetings, this is Gilles here. I wanted to come briefly to say hello, to wish you a good Sunday, this beautiful day, a good weekend. Here it is very sunny, not warm. I was going to say sunny and warm, but no, it is sunny but not warm. And so the highest wisdom that we are to find today is destiny. What is our destiny? Where is our highest fulfillment? What is it we came here to do on this planet? And so to align ourselves with the higher plan of the soul and the spirit, our soul plan that will make us fulfilled, that will make us complete, that will make us happy. What we need to do is responsibility. Responsibility means letting go of all external responsibility to become responsible of the inside. It means being responsible for our thoughts, for our words, for our actions. To be responsible not in relationship to the expectation of others, but to be responsible for our whole creation. And so in many sense, all the negative thoughts we have to watch and not empower those negative thoughts that could still come into the mind. So it is important to be responsible, to always be kind as much as possible. What we need to do is to produce a certain effort in order to achieve a certain result. I will return to that idea to discuss the idea of being an hedonist, to be or not to be an hedonist. So I will return to that. And the general message is healer. It is about being a healer. It's about healing the world, healing yourself, finding the healing wherever you go. You find healing. You find resolution. You make things whole. You bring the joy. You liberate all the darkness. You find the true essence of as you see the true light within each and every person. This light will manifest as an element of evolution and freedom. And the archangels, the message of the archangels today is a wonderful card. It's the 3 of Raphael. So she said, you have good reasons to party. Community of friends, good news in a relationship or in relationship to children. So it is very much a card of intimacy, of celebration. So much is here to give, and so we have to avail ourselves to be available for this. For that which is to come. I spoke the other day about Epicure, which is a great philosopher. Personally, I'm more Stoic than Epicureans, but there is one more idea that I did not bring in this video that I thought was quite interesting and needed to be expressed, is that for Epicure, death was not a factor within life. Epicure was a philosopher that lived about 3 centuries BC. Huh? And so for him, existence was not a factor to life, because when you're alive, you are not dead, therefore death has no grasp on you when you're alive. And when you're dead, death, we don't know what's happening afterwards, but death has no more power because you're gone. So this idea of death should be eliminated, and in many sense, those who are afraid of death are afraid of living, for life does not belong to us. We've already been programmed with a certain lifespan, and no matter what we do, when our lifespan is over, we return home, we return to the light. And so there is no really concern about how long we're going to be here, or it is a matter of making the most of the time, like in the Matrix, this what's his name, Gandalf was saying to Frodo, the only thing you have, the responsibility is what you do with the time between your birth and your death. It is not, you have not to decide who's going to die, who's going to live, but what you do with your time in between those 2 points of life. There is great meaning and significance within each and every experience within life, and we want to conduct our life in a way that is more and more enjoyable. For there are forces in the invisible world that will remain dormant and until they are invoked, until they are believed in. When we believe in something, we make it real. It's not because we believe in something that it will be ultimately real, but we make it real. Yet what is real, what is eternally real, will always be real. It will not change. And so once we start believing in this eternal potential, we connect to those levels of truth which are revealed within our consciousness, and we should not doubt that, because we're moving towards a great portal of energy, and there will be a lot of cosmic motion, and so there's going to be a lot of chaos, maybe a little, and so we do not want to fall into confusion and doubt, for we are moving closer, but the closer we get to the portal, the more the doubts and the possibility of failing that process will come into the picture. And so you do not want to doubt yourself, just move with trust forward, and things will happen as they should. So I wanted to be or not to be an hedonist. To be an hedonist means to research pleasure. It was a word that I think, as far as I know, was invented, was first brought forward by Plato in the Gorgias, which is a wonderful book, the Protagoras and the Gorgias. It was Socrates bring his philosophy and confront the knowledge of those great sophists of the time. And so in essence, it is be an hedonist means to look for all that is agreeable and to move away from those things that are disagreeable, which probably 99% of the humanity is part of that model of existence. When I was young, I was very much an hedonist. For me, it was always to look for the maximum pleasure with the minimum efforts. But since I have grown and moved into spirituality, this principle has evolved into achieving the maximum result with the minimum effort. But because pleasure is not happiness. Pleasure, Plato also explained that pleasure is one thing, but in order to be happy, happiness goes through virtue. So it is about balancing out this virtue and pleasure so that we can be free to enjoy the pleasure while having enough virtue to not be attached to those pleasures so we can enjoy them freely. This is just personal insight that I thought I share in this video. So I also thought about a divinity when I presented a painting yesterday that is called Maat. It's an Egyptian goddess that's always portrayed as sitting down when all of them are standing on 2 feet. Why is she sitting down? Because she's a time lord, and so she's beyond time. The time lords are those who are supervising the evolution of all consciousness following timelines. And so I have much gratefulness. I'm very grateful for intervention in my life, for all the spirits that have been helping me, assisting me through my spiritual path. And so Maat is a great goddess, and we make contact to her. For me, I have this trigger. When I walk on the street and I see a little white feather, it brings me into the alignment with the consciousness of Maat, and I move out of time, and I can experience something different, and I continue my walk. But every time I see a small white feather, it reminds me of Maat, and I remind myself that the temporal reality is just an illusion, that there is something beyond and something better that is beyond the manifestation. Maat was a goddess that was when human beings died, they go through the halls of Amenti for reincarnation, and some of them can achieve the elevation to the land of Arulu, the earthly paradise. But in order to do that, there was different tests that the Time Lords and the Elohim and the Great Master who oversees the process have to put in place in order for the past to happen as it should. And our process was to weight the heart of man with a little feather. If your heart is heavier than the feather, then you would have to return into reincarnation. If your heart was lighter than the feather, you could move on to a higher planes. And so she's a beautiful, powerful force, as well as many other goddesses that are involving themselves in this process. We'll learn to know them. I want also to say that most of the time it is not good. You cannot, once you open yourself to the light and the truth of the soul, you are being revealed all kinds of things. You know and see all things very clearly, yet you cannot always tell what you want, because it is better to be kind than to be brutally truthful. If too much truth comes up to the surface, it will be too much and it will not be understood. So it's always about calibration, balance, finding the concord point what someone is ready to take, I'm not saying to be calculative, but to be balanced in relationship. The master of wisdom explained that when we come from a place of light and we move into a conversation with someone, it is our responsibility, the judge. We are the judge because we come from the light, and someone who is not yet in the light. So it is our responsibility to calibrate so that the person can open his heart. If the person does not open his heart, it's not his fault, it is your fault as the judge, that you have not found a way to align yourself with any situation, any person. I've been working very much with this master, Thoth, the Egyptian, the master of Atlantis, and Orlet, the lord of Atlantis, through Santal. I'm working with those new forces. I'm being always working with those new level of integration of the those many cosmic natures. I wanted to say that in many sense it is good to be able to simplify our life, because as we are able to simplify our life, in many lifetimes I was very ascetic, and being ascetic means to be able to find true joy and happiness with very little, to be able to content yourself with a very simple life and find true joy and happiness. As you find true joy and happiness without much, the universe can always bring more. Because now I realize I am also a creature of comfort. I would be very miserable living in the wood by myself right now. It would be completely incapable of nourishing myself or living a normal life. So I accept the condition of my life. But in many sense, we want to simplify our life as much as possible, so that, because the more then we can enjoy all the things without being attached to things. As we hold on to that light, that inner light, we make that the stable ground of our life. Is this constant growth and process of evolution of our sacred flame. All the things of the world can come to us without attachment, and so we are much more able to appreciate all things for what they can bring us, without having to suffer if those things are no longer, if they're just passing through our life. So I hope this message was interesting for you. I wanted to speak, I'm going to finish with a little, talking about a few paintings. The one behind me, it's a painting that took me a very long time. The signature on top took me the longest time, but it's a painting that's about dissolution of the self, dissolution of the form, to move into the non-form. It's quite a fascinating painting. There's a lot of details. It's maybe difficult to see in video, but I will soon show them. I also wanted to show some other paintings, but first maybe I'll bring to talk about this. Very small painting. The small paintings are really difficult. It's very difficult to make a small painting that is incredible, because when it's big, at least it's got a physical presence. But as a painter, you got to learn to work in. Some painters just worked in big, some work only in small, but me, I choose to explore. I like really large and even monumental canvases, but I like to work in small painting, small size. And this is a painting from a series that I did, many of them. It's about the great I am that I am. And this one is the smallest one. It's very subtle. There was some writing here that disappears. So there is this mystery that is being created, and it's very holding, very. I still really enjoy it. There's all kinds of details that well, of course, there'll be frame, and this is the back. There's the emerald heart. It's signed Monsignor 2013, and so the small paintings are really difficult, but I do enjoy to experiment. I wanted to show a few paintings from the interior series. At some point I realized that I did not have space to paint big paintings where I am, so I decided to paint big paintings within small ones. So it is influenced by the modern art in many ways, but those I call the museum series. They are paintings with paintings inside paintings, and some of them are just an angle within called the museum series, like all kinds of paintings. This one, I have a lot of them. I'm just showing a few, and they will soon be organized, cataloged, commented, and I'll be able to. I sense very soon I'll be able to make real exhibition in the public places, so we'll be able to make all of this comprehensible to the art world and those who love art, through the museums and so on. This one is a very quiet painting. The central painting is one about the I Ching. It's about the creator, the hexagram number 1. But the colors makes it very peaceful, and then there is all those frames within time when there is this great one light. Of course, I want to reveal some of the insight of this. I don't understand everything about my paintings, but I understand more than most people will. And in many sense, I want to explain some of it, but I want to keep some mystery, for there will always be mysteries in those works. There is hidden mysteries within those works. I've been watching them for many years, and they keep revealing themselves. Sometimes it takes me years to figure out a painting, why I did this painting, or what is behind it. And in 2005, 2006, there was many metaphysical paintings. This was a transition painting. It's called Two Visitors. There's a central painting here, and then there's those two visitors. like celestial being visiting the gallery. And then in 2007, 2008, I did a lot of them without any sort of just paintings on the wall. But in 2005, I explored all kinds of things potential. There were all those inside. Like this one is called the House of the Magician. And so there is this magician and this smoke that is the reflection, and then there is the earth here, the symbol of the earth, that's all frozen. But there is this inner transformation of the fire through the black hole. And then here within the House of the Magician, there is the sun put on the table with this magic stick, and then there's this guy with a sword and then the wand, and then there's this mystical animal here. Well, those will I will comment on those, but there is great there is hidden truths and mysteries that will reveal themselves, and so I do not want necessarily to tell everything about it. I think everybody can also make up his own mind, get different things from those paintings, that somebody can look at one of my paintings and see something completely different that I've never even imagined, but it is just used for what it is used, and so there are triggers in revelation to certain source codes and all those paintings because they address the inner self. And then I'll finish with this painting. It's called the Red Table. For it is a red table here with a blue cup, and there's this blue light that comes and then surrounds everything. It's about the liquid light of the soul, the liquid light of life. And there is this painting here that's like very, I kind of like the color of it, and it's like reminding of the pyramid, the memory, and so there is all kinds of things. But I have been looking at those paintings for many years, and I still enjoy them. They will be, of course, they will be framed, and then if I reopen my gallery, I will present them with white gloves and frame. And right now it's a studio presentation, so it's a bit casual. I can take liberties with my own paintings that I would not necessarily take with the paintings of other people. But then when it's my painting and there is a little scratch, I can always repair it. It's kind of easy. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. I wanted to pass by and say hello. I wish you a wonderful Sunday. Thank you very much for comment, likes, sharing, subscribing if you like those videos. I will soon present all kinds of different things, but for now we will do our best to enjoy each and every day, each and every moment for whatever they can bring, for there is great potential for newness in this time of transformation. I thank you very much, and I talk to you soon. Namaste.